Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 4 of the Sideliners. We are very excited to have y'all back.
Even if we don't sound like it.
Yeah. I guess even if we don't sound like it. How are y'all doing?
Doing pretty good.
Good. What about you?
Oh, I'm doing great, guys. I actually just came off my 9th championship in my NCAA football dynasty.
Woo!
Classic video game.
Nice.
You know. I'm in my 10th season. I did fall to Ohio State in my first year, which was upsetting. But, we come back.
The class of 2023 is booming right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just finished the 2024 season.
Nice.
In my game. We got 3 5-stars in this recruiting class.
Oh, no.
Hopefully setting up for a nice
Dynasty.
Right, no, yeah.
Unironically.
Right. But things are looking good. Took down Purdue. Pretty excited.
Purdue in the
national championship. And the number 3 and 4 teams were Georgia Tech and Miami of Ohio.
That's interesting.
That is.
I could see Georgia Tech and Purdue having good teams because they have in the past, but Miami of Ohio.
I've played them in the national championship before. Miami of Ohio. There are like a certain amount of teams in the game that are like really annoying to play because they only run the option, and like no matter like over the entire course of the dynasty, it doesn't change, even though it would in real life because of like coaching changes and stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't change, and so they're just always like, I never want to schedule Georgia Tech. I never want to schedule Army, like those teams. Mm-hmm. But anyway, great game. I played all the time, and there's been some talk about like, is it going to come back? Like,
well, I think I saw that California would allow players to make money off their names, so maybe.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
I would love to see it.
Right, definitely a huge step. And this game right now, when I got it in 2013, I think it was worth like $40, maybe somewhere between like 40 and 60. And now on eBay, it's being sold for like upwards of $150.
Yeah,
like it's insane.
Well, I mean, now are you willing to put down the $500 for a PS5 or an Xbox Series?
No, like all the Xbox Series X games like are on the Xbox One, so it's
right. That backwards compatibility, but
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see if the situation presents itself, then we'll talk.
Yeah, I just don't see. At least for me, I don't see a PS5 in my near future.
Right.
Considering.
Oh, no, definitely not.
I don't even have time to play video games anymore. It's kind of sad.
No, I feel that. It's a nice break. It's like, all right, I'm going to go play my game against Clemson. Let's go do it.
Nice.
Cool.
And speaking of college football this week, got some fun results like Coastal Carolina taking down BYU at the 1-yard line.
They were so
1 yard line or 2 yard line?
The announcer said 2, but it was 1.
No, they were so close.
It was
close. Excited for those guys down in Conway, the Chanticleers.
I don't know.
A huge win for them.
The perfect season is over.
For BYU.
Yeah, but I don't think Coastal Carolina. Do you think they could? They don't have playoff berths.
No, I think
over Cincinnati.
If any chance they're gonna have to schedule like Cincinnati and maybe another top 10 team.
How crazy would it be if they beat Cincinnati?
I don't know how crazy it would be. Like they've come this far. BYU's a good team. I think.
I think BYU should have won that game, but it was so close. It's very upsetting.
Well, Coastal basically outplayed them the whole game. It seems like.
I mean, literally a game.
Other than,
a
like,
game
the
of
second
yards.
quarter.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's how it is. 2000 Super Bowl. So what Super Bowl was that? The one, where the Dyson?
Yes, the greatest show on turf, the Rams.
Yeah.
Rams and Titans.
Yeah.
My apologies for every college football and NFL team that I picked last week. I sincerely do apologize. West Virginia, Wisconsin. Yeah.
I can't agree with you there. I got a lot of picks right this.
we did
weekend.
well.
I'm very sorry. I was just wrong. So many levels.
Especially in college, I think I got every single one right. But
Ben was in his bag.
I was definitely not in my bag.
did you call Wisconsin?
No.
He said Wisconsin was going to be Indiana, and they lost.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, Indiana gets it done without the starting quarterback. Looking good. Another defensive game, kind of as we expected from both of those teams.
Hey, put some respect on Indiana's
name.
name.
Their only loss is Ohio State. They look good.
We're going to get into Ohio State later.
Yeah. The Pac-12, we say this every week, but
it's still trash.
Still sucks. Washington, seeming like they were building some momentum, got taken down by Stanford, almost mounted a late comeback, but to no avail. Now it's looking like USC and Colorado The only
Colorado.
the only two undefeated teams left, and USC is obviously going to get more national attention because USC.
Right.
But the only two undefeated teams left, the only two teams that could really make something out of the season. So it'll be interesting to see.
I just don't see playoff implications.
Yeah,
for it.
And the thing no, absolutely not. But the thing that sucks is that they're in the same division. So if they both win out, they're not going to play in the.
Yeah.
Well, I saw this thing. Shout out, elite college football, but the elimination of conferences.
Yeah, divisions within
divisions,
conferences.
yes.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I mean, would y'all want to see that?
I don't think that could happen to some of the
Oh, I'm sure it definitely could. Why not? It definitely could happen.
It could happen to the Pac-12.
It could happen to every conference.
I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like the Big
but-
Ten and the SEC are both built on that. I don't know.
But
I think
doesn't-
that's like an important part, especially about the SEC. That's like a really important part.
Well, how the SEC does, I mean, I'm not sure. Like, they draw, like, say you're LSU, you're in the SEC West, and you draw two SEC East teams every year. And, I mean, you could easily just, like, not do that. Like, you could easily just play the same SEC West teams and just do, like, the same thing, but just all together. And that way the teams with the two best records make the... Like,
Yeah.
You see this issue in the Big Ten, like, especially. You've got Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Michigan State, all in the same division. So you have years where Ohio State plays
so, 'cause
Northwestern.
there is Florida and Georgia on the East, and you have Alabama.
Well,
and
that's
all
more
teams that
balanced. It's more
fluctuate.
balanced in
It's
the
a lot
SEC
more,
than in the Big Ten.
balanced, yeah.
Like this year, we're gonna have Ohio State and Northwestern probably.
It is for the purpose of bringing more parity, making things more equal. But I mean, I don't see it happening in the near future.
I don't
but it's definitely an interesting idea to think about.
Right. So, transitioning over to the NFL, we not sure if y'all remember last week, but we had a little segment where we were like, oh, every NFC East team is really going to be a high underdog this week. None of them are going to win, but if you had to pick one, who would it be? And you guys both said Washington over the Steelers, and I said the Giants, and they both won. Like
I was
wow.
confident in Washington. It wasn't if any
Well,
of them were going to win. I knew Washington was going to win that game. I said all they had to do was score more than 20 points on the offense, and they win. Because I know that defense is going to step up.
Well, I will tell you, I wasn't that confident in the Giants winning with Colt McCoy at the helm. But they got it done. The defense, similar story. Both games had a very similar story. Just did enough.
I've been on record on saying that the football team is the most put together team in the NFC East, and they pulled it out. Hi, Daniel Jones. Any word on Danny Dimes this week?
Well, obviously hoping to have him back, take on Arizona, which in New York, it's definitely a winnable game. They're only favored by 2. And, 2.5, it literally just changed. But, no, even if, it shows, we made a statement this week saying we don't necessarily need Daniel Jones, even though it would be great to have him back, because Colt, he's great, but he doesn't have the same kind of, young energy. And the defense looks great. It's a similar story, again, to Washington.
Defense really good, yeah.
Yeah, totally kept.
I mean, Washington's
DK
got a
Metcalf.
young defense. If that whole team sticks together, they could be.
No, but I think both of these teams have pretty bright futures. So
Yeah.
they can, Washington maybe draft a quarterback, and the Giants just put together some weapons for Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
It could all come together for both of these teams.
Offensive lines.
And then,
those
of course-
Yeah,
will be
right.
important for
Right.
both teams.
Of course.
And then, of course, the former powerhouses, if you can even call them that, of the NFC East, Eagles falling to the Packers this week with I guess I wouldn't say unexpected, but the change at QB.
Right, no, I think we're all pretty excited. I mean, it's giving... I think if you're an Eagles fan, it's giving you something to look forward to and be like, let's make a positive out of this season that has become negative. And so it's like, well, if Jalen Hurts can develop... It just sucks to see Carson Wentz, a guy that had a lot of potential and isn't that old. I mean, this is his 5th or 6th season.
It's so odd seeing how somebody at MVP level in
Yeah.
2017
Yeah.
just one injury and it's
No,
just has
I
not
feel
been the
bad for
same.
him.
It is.
And you've
It's
got
real
to
sad.
feel, if you're Carson Wentz, that your team's kind of given up on you this year. And if they're using their first round pick on a quarterback and not another weapon for you.
Yeah, but he's also... I think Jalen Hurts is a little more than a quarterback.
Right.
You see the Colts putting in their backup quarterback on
Brissett?
running.
Brissett,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the Saints did the same thing with Taysom Hill before Drew Brees got hurt.
Before Drew Brees got hurt. They did that with Taysom Hill. I think he could be that style of player.
Carson Wentz?
No.
Oh.
Jalen Hurts.
Right.
He could be that style of player. Kind of a wildcat powerhouse to finish, score touchdowns, get fourth downs. I think he'd be really good at that.
I just think that people actually want to see him play.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
people
a similar situation. It's building momentum when you have a young person. Like, you can find a positive, like find a silver lining. The Browns.
Oh
The
my
Browns.
goodness,
Shocking.
Whew.
Maybe shocking. I mean, they look incredible in the first half.
They almost blew it.
Right, they did almost blow it in true Atlanta fashion. But really solid performance from everyone. On the offense.
Especially Baker.
On the offense.
Baker, yeah, really huge game for Baker. But does this play into that classic Baker cycle of play trash, get exposed, have a really good game, call out his haters, play trash again?
I mean, I don't not want to see Baker succeed. Like I do wish him the best, and hopefully this can. Let's just call it what it is. This was his best game as a pro.
I agree.
So hopefully he can build on this and just win out for Cleveland, because everybody loves Cleveland. They're America's true team.
Right.
So
you could say that.
Shout out Cleveland.
Yeah.
Gaining on Pittsburgh now.
Yeah.
Which is,
I mean, yeah, it's really something.
There's no way Pittsburgh doesn't make the playoffs, which is upsetting. But in a way, I don't think I think there's teams that could beat them.
Well, what I've definitely learned, I think throughout this podcast, myself included for sure, like even if they played a ton of bad teams and played a lot of close games that they barely won, going 11-0 is really hard. Like
that
really
is,
hard.
Yeah. Like we did this the first week for the podcast, is saying like, are the Seahawks like the worst 7-0 team or the worst 8-0 team?
Right.
And I said no. I still believe that they're contenders, even with this loss to the football team, just because I mean, you have to go through it every week and having the schedule changes, especially with them. Like that not only does that show like just good preparation for the game, but just like mental preparation.
Yeah.
I think what put them to 11-0 was the fact that there was not a lot of injuries and they did not have a lot of problems with COVID. I think that really helped them. Well, besides like scheduling, but they didn't.
They had a ton of problems with it. I don't know what you're talking about. James Conner got COVID. He had to miss a couple games.
Oh yeah. And then Ben's knee got hurt.
Right. I think it's really, like we said, the coaching of Mike Tomlin.
And then the defense.
Right.
The defense has been so good.
Right, and obvious resiliency. You can see by looking at any of the social medias, like TikTok, that they have great chemistry. So there's obviously a lot of factors. It all kind of came together for them this year. But, a team that it hasn't come together for, the Jets. I
don't know. I don't know who to be more mad at, the Raiders or the Jets. Right. I don't know who to be more mad at.
For those of you that don't know the context of this, the Jets were up by, was it 6 or 4?
It was something.
I think it was 4.
They were up. They were up. They were
the
up.
The Raiders had to score a touchdown
with 6 seconds to go, and the Raiders had the ball on their own 40, and the Jets blitz 8 guys and leave Henry Ruggs, one of the fastest receivers in the league, in one-on-one coverage, and Derek Carr steps up in the pocket, throws a dime, touchdown, game over. Raiders win. So the Jets have already fired their defensive coordinator since then. But I mean, there's were they trying to lose? Was this on purpose? Do we think
this is so weird? Because I don't know. I've never seen cover 0. I understand the appeal of going cover 0 on a Hail Mary just because you want to get the ball out quick, but never ever do that ever. Don't ever do that.
Right.
On a Hail Mary. Like that is possibly the worst possible thing that you can do.
Yeah.
So if you're rushing 8, you're leaving a tight end wide open.
Well, it's just not even that. It's just,
it's leaving a quick guy in one-on-one coverage.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So
I don't think it was on purpose. I legitimately just think that it was just a fat L on the Jets.
That was bad. That was so bad.
And if you're Trevor Lawrence, you need
Can
to
say no.
Yeah.
You need to say no.
You just
no,
need.
thanks.
You just need
Paul
to say
Eli
no.
Manning.
Yeah, just you cannot go to the Jets.
Yeah. So I actually wanted to talk about a specific Jets player. In terms of fantasy, it's a big week. Big week. We've got the playoffs starting in most leagues. We're all looking to make a run, maybe get a win this week.
The three. I'm the 3 seed.
You're the 3 seed. He's the
5
seed, and I'm the 7 seed. Fantastic. All slid into the playoffs.
Yes.
The guy I want to talk about, Denzel Mims, not a super highly touted guy.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, the wide receiver.
The wide receiver.
Yes,
I think from Baylor. I want to say this. He's a rookie out of Baylor, and I think he's gonna. This is his standout week. The Jets don't have a ton of weapons. It's really him and Jamison Crowder are the receivers, and they're playing against a Seahawks secondary that obviously is not good, and we've covered that. It's not good. And
I've definitely seen him trending upwards on waiver wire. Did you pick him up this week?
No, I did not. I've got too many backs with injured starters.
Mm-hmm. Well, why don't you just release Mike Davis then?
Because McCaffrey's not going to play. He's not supposed to play.
Then who's your running back? I am confused.
Okay, so right now I've got Zeke and Kenyon Drake in there. Both are questionable, but should play.
Awesome.
And on my bench, I've got Devontae Booker, who I don't intend to play, but I'm not going to drop him either. And then I've got Mike Davis, who, if McCaffrey doesn't play, I might start at flex over T. Higgins. The problem is T. Higgins is going against Cowboys secondary.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a very favorable matchup for me.
Yes, please start T. Higgins.
But if Mike Davis, I don't know. I'll make that decision in the.
I think Derrick
days.
Henry is going to do insane against the Jaguars.
Talk about favorable matchups.
That's gonna be. Oh, he's gonna have another 40-point league.
I agree. Much to my hatred for the player that I'm playing against this week, who happens to have Derrick Henry.
See if he listens to this podcast.
If he does, I hate you right now, but you're not going to win. But I do see Derrick Henry having a huge game, and also at the player that I'm playing this week, I also see your other running back, Raheem Mostert, having some trouble this week. Washington defense.
Yeah,
like I said,
absolutely.
that front seven stops a lot of running backs. I mean, it's proven. And of course the San Francisco running back by committee, but I mean, they're either going to have to stop one of them or they're going to stop all of them. So I don't see it working out for San Francisco this week.
Right. Kind of a similar theme. The player I think is going to be disappointing this week. We talked about the similarities between the Giants and Washington. I think DeAndre Hopkins, they play the Giants. He's going to have to line up against James Bradbury this week, which is not a great matchup for him. And I could just turn this in. I could talk about James Bradbury all day. I love James Bradbury.
And I do not like you for talking about James Bradbury.
He's
right
awesome.
Now. Well,
it's so great.
I need Hopkins to score at least 35 this week.
That is absolutely not happening. I see him being held to 5 catches or less.
Is that? Are you standing by that boldly?
No. But I'm confident in my man Bradbury.
Interesting.
He's a beast.
Interesting.
Top 5 corner in the league.
You know, I won't disagree with you there, because honestly, the only cornerback that really anybody pays attention to is Jalen Ramsey, just because.
Oh, I actually think that Jair Alexander has garnered a lot more attention.
Yeah.
Yes,
as the obvious number 2 guy.
Earlier in the season, I feel like
Right.
he got. A lot
It seems
more
like
attention.
everyone has Jalen Ramsey at 1, Jair Alexander at 2, and then there's kind of a Carlton Davis in the mix with the Bucks. James Bradbury's in there sometimes. You got Kyle Fuller on the Bears. It's kind of a mix there. But it seems like an obvious 1, too.
And then I guess continuing with fantasy, please continue the trash talk. We do enjoy.
The trash talk?
The trash talk is one of the most underrated parts of fantasy.
Absolutely. And of course the loser, the agreement that the loser has to do, which isn't so. It's like kind of funny. I don't remember what it is.
Well, we're gonna figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
It's definitely set.
I think we should move on to the college football preview for this week.
Yes.
So some big matchups this week. We've got a Pac-12 matchup in there. Sorry guys, but it's USC UCLA, a classic rivalry. USC again looking to build some momentum. I think they get it done at the Rose Bowl, which I mean is technically a road game, but yeah, again, looking to build, see what they can do. Another big one is North Carolina and Miami. Miami, we were talking about Miami, the possibility of Miami being overrated, which tends to happen to them a lot. And this year, I mean, when you think about it, they have one loss. It's to Clemson, who, obviously Clemson with a healthy Trevor Lawrence.
Is Clemson.
Right. And they weren't going to win that game. There's no way. They were on the road. They're not going to win that game. But they have the opportunity to take on Mac Brown and Sam Howell and the North Carolina Tar Heels in Coral Gables this week. But I think North Carolina gets it done with their high-powered offense. Their defense really is nothing, and I think De'Aaron King has a field day. But I bet Tar Heels get it done in a shootout.
I think they do too. But I don't know about that. I think it's going to be a surprising defensive game. We've seen good defense from Miami.
No, I don't.
But I don't think their offense is going to be able to step up to the plate this week. And I think it's going to be quite defensive, where it's supposed to be projected to be kind of a shootout.
From what I've seen of Derrick Henry, I love watching him play.
Derrick Henry?
Derrick.
What? De'Aaron King?
De'Aaron King. My apologies. De'Aaron King.
Derrick Henry is living in his head rent-free right now.
You need to stop.
He's scared.
You need to stop. You need to stop.
You had a 40-point week against me.
De'Aaron King, what were you saying about?
I love watching him play.
Yeah, sure.
And hopefully, I feel like I'm gonna curse Miami if I do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
All right, confirm North Carolina win. Here we go.
Do not do this to me. And then I also see USC pulling off the win too.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's kind of a.
I mean, you never know.
win.
No one in the Pac-12 is
yeah,
anything similar, consistent. The last matchup I wanted to talk about, possible upset watch in Columbia, Missouri this week. You got Georgia taking on Missouri, who is a ranked team now.
Yeah.
John's gonna love to talk about what they did to LSU, and it was they offense was dominating in that game. The defense not so great, and Georgia's defense is great when healthy, and they've got JT Daniels, and so it's really hard for me to pick against the Bulldogs this week, even though Missouri's at home, got some steam, looking pretty good. They've got nothing to lose too, and Georgia I guess doesn't have a whole lot to lose, but they are a top 10 team.
I know you're saying their defense was bad, but
No, Missouri's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Vanderbilt didn't score on them, and Vanderbilt scored on one of the best defenses in the league. So, if you compare that,
Whatever.
in a way,
I mean, you can frame it any way you want.
yeah, but I think if they can hold that triple option offense, they are winning that game, no doubt about it. That's going to be so easy for them because
No doubt about it for Missouri. That's a bold take.
I don't know. I'm saying that offense. If they play up to how they've been playing in some of these games that I've seen, they will win this game.
Well, you could say the same thing about JT Daniels and the Georgia offense. If they play how they're supposed to play, they can put up 45 points.
But it's different because it's a normal offense. It's not some different kind of style. This triple option style, it's kind of unstoppable against the teams they've played with it, and they've scored 30 to 40 points with it every single game they've played it. But then they've played normal games and not done as well.
All right.
JT Daniels, the power of the stash.
Yeah.
I just see Georgia winning this. I highly doubt that Missouri can, pull off the upset. But if they do, more power to them. It just reaffirms storylines of Georgia not being as good as we thought they were.
Right. So transitioning over to the NFL, we've got a lot of intriguing matchups this week as well. Tonight we've got the Patriots and the Rams, which shouldn't, I don't think on paper, be the Rams are going to be the favorite. Obviously, they're at home. New England's offense isn't spectacular, but
a Belichick defense is always.
Yes.
This defense last week they put
right.
up,
No, and you can never count Belichick
really
out of a game.
Yeah. I mean,
so I think,
you can't count him out of the playoffs yet.
I think the Rams get it done though.
I just don't see the Patriots having enough weapons.
Yeah,
I
think it'd be close, but it's gonna be a Rams win probably by 2 possessions.
Yes. A game I'm really excited to talk about that I touched on earlier. The Cardinals travel to MetLife to take on the Giants this week, hopefully with a returning Daniel Jones. And I think the Giants do it. I think they win their 5th in a row. I don't want to jinx anything, but I think they win their 5th in a row. Hopefully, similar story last week, our offense can do enough, and the defense can hold of the pretty high-powered Cardinals offense. But Cardinals are kind of sliding right now. They do not have momentum.
I cannot go for the Cardinals. The last two weeks I've called the Cardinals, they've lost. So it's not been pretty prediction wise for the Cardinals. For me.
Recency bias would have me going against the Cardinals, but you know
what? That's good awareness.
But I just they become my secondary team this year.
Yeah.
And seeing the Giants win just brings me a lot of pain. So just picking the Cardinals out of pure spite and pettiness is what I'm going to do right here.
But I have to start Zeke every week.
Well, that sounds like a you problem. And then Cleveland in another big game for them this week.
Big game. The Ravens' first really important game they've played since, I would say, the Steelers. I guess so. I mean, they had the game postponed due to COVID. But that game against the Steelers, you got RG3 going. Their running backs were all out. Des Bryant now out for them. But watching Lamar on, Tuesday night? Mm-hmm. He looked good on the ground for sure, but his throws were really off. Really not looking good, not looking sharp. So if he's going to need to turn that around if he's going to keep up with Baker. Really weird to say that. But
I don't know. I don't think the Browns can do it. I think they had a once a year kind of week last week. But they have incorporated Jarvis Landry lately,
right,
which
and
has been
even
good for
Rashad
them.
Higgins.
Yeah, and Rashad Higgins did really well last week.
Right, without Odell Beckham, he's kind of come into the light as a really good weapon for Baker.
I think we're missing one game, and that's the Steelers-Bills game.
They played this week.
Wow, the Steelers.
I totally missed
How
that.
did we forget that?
Yeah,
It's
hold on.
really
Verifying, just making sure.
It is
John,
because
just making sure.
I'm playing the Steelers
Okay,
defense, and I have two Bills players. We're missing that.
Yeah, huge
It's a
game.
big-
Sunday night.
big
I didn't even
matchup.
know.
Wow, that's really... Oh, because you know what? Because the Cowboys 49ers game got switched out for that game.
Yeah.
Only in 2020 could the Cowboys be switched out of prime time.
Right, and the Giants switched into primetime next week against Cleveland.
Oh, cool.
Not this week, but next week.
That's awesome.
I can't wait. I think the Bills do it. I think at home.
I think the Bills do
Buffalo,
too.
Yeah.
according to ESPN, is favored by 2.5, which I guess isn't that surprising, but that's awesome. Okay, that's a great matchup as well.
As much as I think they're gonna win, I really want them to win.
Yeah.
I'm going in fantasy. I'm going against the Steelers defense, and I have Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. I really need that passing game to do good, like they did last week. But yeah, I think the Bills take it. It's at home against the Steelers team who just just did not play well last week.
I mean, I don't want to count the Steelers out, obviously. And this prediction isn't going against it just because they lost to the football team, but I legitimately do think the Bills can pull
have
this
looked
one out.
No,
really
they're off.
good.
I mean, they're hard not to. They're fun to watch. Those are really fun to watch.
Cole Beasley now with it too.
I mean, my God. And Stephon Diggs, I mean, props to him for really. I mean, when you get traded, you have to learn a new system.
Yeah.
But he's totally. I mean.
Oh, he fits perfect.
Right.
I mean,
he's
10 catches a game, 100 yards per game. That's literally his.
Very
that's what he
impressive
does.
first year with Buffalo, especially coming out of a Minnesota offense where he was the number one receiver, but not putting up numbers anywhere near as good as this year.
Yeah, they had that running back power that the Bills don't really have.
Right. Yeah. If the Bills had a solid running back, I mean, God.
I mean, Singletary, Zach Moss, it's all right,
Yeah,
but
okay.
it's nothing like a
It's
Dalvin Cook.
it's nothing special.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very excited for the matchups tonight and the rest of the weekend. We got Texas playing Baylor in basketball. Baylor's good. Baylor's real good.
Baylor's really good.
We're going to lose probably, but that's okay.
We're 13th, right?
Texas has
13?
played some good teams
Yeah,
this year. It's
yeah,
weird.
no, we play 10, 11 top 15 teams.
Oh, wow.
And, very exciting sports weekend. Excited to cover it all. Hope to be back next week.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
We kept it under 30.
Yeah, we did. It's darn close, though. We're at 29-10. Yeah. Okay, well, let us know, of course, if you have any suggestions, if you made it this far. Like and subscribe. Got to get the ratio up.
Also, whoever called us frauds, you were talking about me. Yes, I know my predictions are off.
All right.
I
Thank
don't-
you guys
I
for
do wanna know.
listening.
Leave a nice comment if you please.
It's very appreciated.
Yes.
All right.
It really builds our self-esteem. We need the ego boost.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys.